What's up? We're back with another one. All right. So, Swab Drilly, a Bronx drill rapper, got boomed in the Bronx, or in New York, leaving his probation office. All right. All you Cali dudes that like to tap in, check out the channel. I used to live in the Bronx. I like staying, tuned in with what's going on over there. I like staying tuned in to a lot of East Coast stuff. I try to bring it to you guys. I give you guys the, reformed suburban gangster wannabes perspective. But seriously, I've been everywhere. I've seen everything. I've been in slums. I've been to jail. I've been in mansions. I've been on yachts. I've been, at exclusive events. I've been all over the world. I've been to Fiji, New Zealand, Thailand, Laos, right? Been to Europe. So I come with a super unique perspective. That being said, I've definitely been to the Bronx. So what we're talking about today is a backdoor operation from what we can see. Because unless he was like live or he had posted his location or whatever, who knows which probation officer he is unless they saw him at probation, which means they also got probation in the Bronx. Or they know somebody who's on probation in the Bronx. But you got to keep your head on a swivel. You got to be 10 toes down. You got to be, 24/7. Once you're spotted at your probation office, you got to keep in mind who else is on probation at the same time as you, which officer they have, if they're cool with you, if they're not cool with you, or if they're going to play cool with you. Because I run into a lot of guys that play cool with you. I run into a lot of guys that are cool with you. As soon as they find out where you're from, right? Let's say you, for the California examples, let's say you got probation in Santa Clara County because you caught a case in San Jose, right? Let's say you're in Santa Clara County because you caught a case in San Jose, but you're an LA dude, right? And you see some other LA dudes, but they're from the other neighborhood. You're Sereno. They're I don't know. They're Hoover. I don't know. I don't know who the Serenios beef with right now. But like they're Hoover and you're Big Blood or whatever, right? Damu. And they are from LA and they spot you there. Well, you better believe that all the LA Bloods now are gonna know that you got probation up in Santa Clara County, even though you're not a Santa Clara County dude, even though you're not a NorCal dude. You caught a case up there, you're on probation now or whatever it is, right? It's out of that district, out of that county. And so as a result, you got to go up there to see your probation officer, which means if you see some phony balonies, if you see some big bloods hanging out, right? Some people you don't recognize, but they might not be from LA, but they're rocking red or whatever, right? Those aren't your peoples. Like that could be a setup, right? That LA dude could have told some northerners that you're bad news in LA or whatever, right? Like you have to be 10 toes, 1090, always on point, you know what I mean? Especially when you're in these situations, you're coming out of court, you're going to court, you're showing up at your probation officer's office, right? Try to get your girl to drive you, switch up the cars that you take or whatever it is, right? So anyway, back to it. So this guy was on probation in the Bronx. His name is Swab Drilly. Not familiar with his music. It's probably terrible. I'm just going to be honest. A lot of the drill rappers out in New York are trash. It's oversaturated, undereducated, and the beats are not very diverse or distinguished. You know what I mean? So really not a big fan of the New York sound right now. There's a couple guys in there that can rap that I like. I like 26AR. I like the guys from Brownsville. I know they get a lot of hate because they throw up the rakes, but I actually think that they're talented rappers. Definitely Baby G or G Baby. I'm not sure. I always flip it around. He's really good. Super young. Got to keep an eye on him. He's very, very talented. But yeah, in terms of the Bronx, who do I liked D-Thing. I don't think he's very good anymore. Trying to think of some Bronx guys that are still good. Put me on. If you're watching the video, leave a comment if you think there's still some good Bronx drill rappers. Anyway, we're going to get into it. So, Suave Drilly gets boomed leaving his parole officer video. This is Swayze's channel. So if you guys have not heard of Swayze, go check him out. He covers all the New York shit, even dumb stuff that I don't feel like tuning in for, but I'm still subscribed to his channel. But like, he'll cover dumb stuff like somebody gets ran off their block, but it's really just a bunch of dudes hop out the car and chase somebody with a cane. It's like really dumb, like not news at all. Anything to get some views for that bacon, egg, and cheese fund. Alright, but let's play the video and we're going to react to it.
Like, even though the New York City drill scene is not where it was at one point, the streets are still hot. And I say that because Suave Drilly, a Bronx drill rapper, was recently fatally shot after visiting his parole officer. Now the article reads, police are investigating after a man was shot and killed in the Bronx on Wednesday. Officers responded to 79 Alexandra.
All right, 79 Alexander in Mont Haven section. That's over by that hospital, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Avenue in the Mont Haven section around 5:50 p.m. for reports of a person.
Just by the hospital, why couldn't they get him there quicker?
Shot. In the radio transmission, a panicked parole officer was heard fighting back crowds on the street as she frantically called for an ambulance after a shooting. A police dispatcher struggled to make sense of it all. Who was shot? The dispatcher said. A parolee was shot. Please send somebody to 79 Alexandra Avenue, the officer responded. One of the witnesses said, Suave Drilly, the man who was shot, as he left a scheduled meeting with his parole officer at a state parole office in Mont Haven. Minutes earlier, she had called the police when she saw a group of men approaching the office and knew something wasn't right. She said, I saw a
Dang, that's crazy. So she sees the guys approaching. She sees his ops roll up on him in front of the parole office. I don't know about you guys, but aren't they supposed to have more than one officer at the office? You got your POs, and then you're supposed to have at least 2 officers at the front door with some sort of like metal detector or something, right? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the state budget is, but I would imagine that the one thing they're spending money on is protecting these cops, hopefully, right? What if somebody just goes in there and tries to light everybody up on some freaking end of the world, you know, mass Ooters like type situation? How do they only have one officer at the front of the building to witness this?
Ski mask, and I heard like move, move, yo. When you heard that, you know the activity, you know what's gonna happen, the witness said. The officer said the men made a beeline for Suave Drilly, shooting him multiple times throughout the body. He was then taken.
Oh man, so he was hit up a couple times. This was not like a one and done. This was not a organized hit. This was, the ops knew his location, someone gave him the drop. He was talking mad stuff or owed somebody some money before he went in. You know what I mean? Did his time, never paid that person back. Whatever it is. But this was bad news, and also it seems like very opportunistic. But I don't know, man. These young kids, they commit crimes differently. It's not like, you know what I mean? The most people you're going to have on a drill with you, I thought was 1 or 2. You know what I mean? For them to have a group like run up on them, I don't know. It just seems like an opportunistic crime. Like really not like thought out. Like, oh, we're gonna hit them. You know what I mean? You know, 1 in the head, 2 in the chest, and we off. Like, you know what I mean? But they did bring masks, so they were ready to not be identified. No face, no case. Interesting.
Taken to Lincoln Hospital, where he was unfortunately pronounced dead. Now I'm gonna let you guys check out this video clip, and I'll be right back with the rest of my commentary.
But we begin tonight with a developing story out of the Bronx, where a search is now on for a gunman who shot and killed a man just moments after he left a meeting with his parole officer. Eyewitness News reporter Josh Neidinger live on the scene in Mott Haven tonight. Josh?
And Mike, the NYPD crime scene unit will be working well into the night, gathering evidence here on the scene of this apparent execution of a 27-year-old man in the late afternoon. Detectives now trying to figure out why. With the scene tonight under control, the work of the crime scene unit seemed eerily calm compared to the chaos here hours earlier. On radio transmissions, a panicked parole officer was fighting back crowds on the street as she frantically called for an ambulance after a shooting, and a police dispatcher struggled to make sense of it all.
Who was shot? Back off! Back off! Who was shot? Holly was shot. A police. Holly was shot. Please send someone to 79 Help is on the way, ma'am. Help is on the way.
People were getting close, and they were like, back up, you know, with their guns out.
It all unfolded right in front of Clarissa Aleyedo after the shooting of a 27-year-old man while he left a scheduled meeting with his parole officer at a...
Yo, homeboy was 27 too. He was starting to make his way out of there. I know what that's like, to get caught up at the wrong time. You're entering serious adulthood. You're exiting your 20s, you know, and you're still tied up in this BS nonsense. Really what we need young men with self-esteem and plans, right? The fact that I didn't have a plan at 28 or that fulfilled me as a person, or that I was still unaware of all the advantages that I had in life, really tells you how important it was for me to fit in and to seem cool and you know, and also the toll that drugs and alcohol, pardon me, drugs and alcohol will take on your perception of the reality around you, you know. The people you surround yourself with they're gonna dictate how you turn out in life. So if all you're doing is smoking weed, playing video games, and hanging out with people that ain't got shit going on, gangbangers and the like, that's what you're gonna turn into, is a nobody with nothing going on and a gangbanger. And you know, for all the advantages that I had, for all the wonderful people that were in my corner, most of my free time was spent doing drugs, thinking of a way to make a quick dollar, you know, turning $1 into $2, and then going back and spending it either on dumb stuff like fashion, and more drugs, right? And who I was hanging out with were petty criminals, homeless kids, people that didn't have parents, didn't have opportunities like me, and as a result, I pretty much burnt all my opportunities to the ground, you know. And I'm still in contact with some of my friends from college, some of the kids that did execute, did go high with their achievements in life as young adults, but by and large, you know, I've burnt every bridge that I ever had, and as a result, you know, who I'm with is just family, friends that were there from the beginning, that would never abandon me no matter the circumstance, and like I said, family, you know, and myself. And so I got to do everything on my own, which is, I guess, what I always needed in the first place, but I shouldn't have had to do so much damage to get there. This dude was 27 years old. He just got out. He's got an opportunity to be on probation, right? He's going to see his officer. Who knows? Maybe he's thinking to himself, oh, I'm just going to focus on the music. I'm going to stay out of trouble, right? Who knows where his head is at? Maybe he's already back into the nonsense, dissing the dead, smoking weed, you know what I mean? Fighting with his baby moms. I don't know, but maybe he wasn't. Maybe he was going to try to turn a new leaf, man, and they snatched that opportunity away from him.
State Parole Office here in Mott Haven. Minutes earlier, she'd already called police when she saw a group of men approaching the office and just knew something wasn't right.
I saw masks, ski masks, coverings. So, and I heard like, move, yo. When you hear that, you know the activity, you know what's going to happen.
Cops say the men made a beeline for the parolee, shooting him multiple times. He died at the hospital. It happened in the middle of the recently gentrified Mott Haven section of the South Bronx, where neighbors say the parole office has been a magnet for crime.
We've been talking with the state about getting the parole. They have a 10-year lease here, about getting this parole office relocated. People know when a releasee is going to see their parole officer, right? And that's the time that they try to maximize and attack. And then the people around are the people who are caught, unfortunately, in the mix.
That's nuts. Yo, the witness testimony is crazy. Gun violence raises awareness from minor celebs being targeted. Different than the P. Diddy security. Definitely different than the P. Diddy security. P. Diddy's gonna have Fort Knox surrounding him, right? Like when he, he's doing his time at a very particular prison where he's gonna be around other celebrities, mostly crime figures that are like mob adjacent, right? You're talking career criminals, organized crime figures, entertainers, scammers, people like that. That's who Diddy's gonna be around doing his time. He's not gonna be around, scary dudes or low-level gangbangers or anything like that. And from what I understand, the layout of the prison that P. Diddy's at is he's gonna be able to visit, walk around, do whatever he kind of wants to do, especially with his access to money and funds and stuff like that. And yeah, go check out my boy Lying to Ya's page. He's definitely tapped in with a couple videos that we had going on. Yeah, check out his page. Check out the content there. Thanks for the comment during the live, bro. I appreciate that. But yeah, what they were saying about trying to move this, right? So they want to move the probation office because they've noticed that whenever somebody's leaving or going to probation, that's when crime in the area spikes, which is hilarious, You would think though that like if you're gonna put a parole office in an area, you would want it to be in a gentrified, safe area with like a lot of cameras and stuff like that. And thinking about the cameras and stuff, right? Like, these guys gotta be on camera. Hopefully they wore those masks if they're not trying to get caught. But that being said, like, dude, like, how do you go to a parole office to try to commit more crime, right? I would be shocked if the cops don't try to jump on this investigation, solve it quickly, so that they can follow up these big headlines with more headlines like, shooter arrested for crime outside parole office or whatever it is that they're gonna say. But yeah, the debate about crime in New York is a big one. I don't know too much about the candidates. I know I really like Madani's economic policy. I know that I don't support Cuomo. It's bad when everybody's kind of like, everybody on the conservative side of things is like, we need Cuomo. But I don't think there's even a chance that any of the conservative or Republican candidates really have an opportunity to win. So it's really just a who's going to win out of the Democratic Party because it's New York, right? They're going to elect a Democrat. But I think for once we give a progressive a chance. And all that stuff about the Israeli connection with all that Madani stuff that he supports Hamas. You know what I think of all that? I could really care less right now. If I hear one more thing about Israel and anti-Semitism, I'm going to throw up, dude. Like, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, how long have you guys been hurting Palestinians? All that genocide, all that stuff. I don't even want to get into it. Especially because a lot of the people that are against Madani that are Jewish are super freaking rich. Are bankers, are, CEOs, real estate tycoons, multiple business owners. They're freaking super wealthy rich dudes that want to hold on to their money, that don't want to pay the higher taxes that Madani's talking about, which is going to pay for things like the free bus system and more police, higher wages for the police, I would imagine, and stuff like that, because eventually he's going to have to win over that crowd of police officers. But I'll tell you what, if you think that police officers aren't going to vote for Madani because they think he's a socialist or something, but he's able to raise their wages, then you're bugging. The second that you're able to raise those wages for police officers in New York, and if any of his economic policies work out, he's going to be a hit. He's going to be a big hit. Anyway, definitely cool. Thanks for tapping in, Lion to you. Let's finish up the video, and we'll see if there's anything else. I don't really know anything about Suave Drilly, but, you know, I'm sure that Swayze will cover some of the content.
And we did ask the office, the state office that controls the parole system, for comment on those comments about its office here in the South Bronx, but it referred all calls to the NYPD, which is in the middle of investigating this homicide. The victim in this case has not been publicly identified. Police are right now looking for 3 people who fled the scene. We're live in the Mott Haven section of the Bronx tonight. Josh Einiger, Channel 7 Eyewitness.
Well, there you have it. Suave Drilly unfortunately lost his life. However, you have a lot of people on the internet saying things like he was a bully, this is karma, what goes around comes around, and things of that nature. Now, I'm gonna show you a few videos of Suave Drilly that led them to this conclusion.
You know where you at, gang? Yo, turn that off, gang. Yo, turn that off, my heart. Bet you not bumping that shit no more? Not bumping that shit no more? Niggas bumping that dumb shit in my park. Get the fuck out of here. I ain't even come outside for that, gang. Like, shit just got me tight. Nah, I'm jacking him. Yo, that nigga was holding on to his bike for dear life. He knew what's up. Get out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here before I smack you. Get out of here. Get out of here before I smack you. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. Pussy. You pussy. Get out of here before I smack you. Get out of here. You seeing the ops, you not doing shit. Get out of here. You pussy. Get out of here. Get out of here. Hop that. Get out of here. And he had them fake chains and that shit. Like, I ain't
That's
gonna
what
lie.
good
Like,
they said.
Like, niggas had mad fake chains on.
So this is the guy who got boomed, and everybody wonders why, right? Look at him. He's somebody in his own set from his own neighborhood. He just hocked a freaking loogie on him like he was that white girl from the TikTok. That was crazy. All right? And then what's wild is that the kid didn't even bump with him. Like, he didn't even swing on him, which is wild. I'm sorry, nobody's spitting in my dreads, hair, whatever the fuck, right? Like, I know I'm older now, so, like, I don't even have that much. But, like, no one's fucking spitting on my head or my face without me trying to at least, like, fist fight them. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. Especially if I thought they was my friend. But it did look like the kid was kind of confused. Like, yo, why are you even doing this to me? But he said that it was because he didn't swing on the ops. And then he does all these weird drills. So Suave Drilly, jumping little TJ, snatching his chains. He didn't even leave fast enough.
I'm like, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, it's the little TJ nigga. How he got all them fake chains and shit.
Yeah.
Niggas end up throwing them shits right back at him though. Like, get out of here. And I told him to leave before it even happened. I told him to leave, feel me? Like, leave before all my mans, like, come out the basketball court.
Yeah.
He ain't leave fast enough, feel me?
Yeah. Would you, if he was really on some, all right, boom, I'll leave, bro. Like,
I would've let him leave. I'm a real nigga, I would've let him leave.
Wow.
That nigga's stupid. That nigga came to my park. Like, this is our park that we be in every day. Like, after he just finished dissing us with like some other niggas, like, for me. So he's stupid. Like, why would you come in there and niggas know what happened after that? Like,
Yeah.
Viral.
That little TJ nigga dead. Got that TJ nigga tight. Oh yeah, got him in the bathroom. Got him in the bathroom. Yo.
Now, because of these videos and plenty more, a lot of people are saying that they feel he got what he deserved. I don't necessarily feel that way, however. Let me know how you feel in the comment section. And if you like the video, don't forget to share, subscribe to the channel.
Throwing up murder?
And if you're not already, and make sure you hit that notification button. But I'm off this.
You're throwing up murder.
Oh, they still.
Oh, that's bad.
They just let him die. They did not even help him.
Work.
Let him work. Let him work. I understand.
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. They really got the footage, fam. I don't mean to laugh, but they out here like doing chest compressions on dude. He's in some Crocs. He got caught bad coming out the probation office by a bunch of ops, and they boomed him. This is wild.
So right here, just let him work. Let's come
That's fucked up. That's going out bad. Like in public, got shot multiple times. I can't tell where he's bleeding from, but that means that they caught him in places where the bullet stayed in him, or it was a small caliber weapon, right? That means that two things. If you don't see blood and they shot him multiple times, is what the report said, that's a small caliber firearm. That's a 22, that's a 38, right? The slugs stayed in him. If it was a 9mm or larger, right, then bullets are going through you, right? Especially if they're you know, anything type serious, like, you know, hollow tips, they sponge in the body, but even then you should see a large exit wound, like, which means even more blood. It's hard to see from that angle. They got him on the floor. They're doing the chest compressions, but what's sad about it is to be caught up in public like that, and then your death goes viral, right? Makes me think of like Charlie Kirk and stuff. Like, dude got shot in the neck on video. Like, you know, it's his kids will watch that, like, you know, when they grow up or whatever. But it's immortalized. Your death becomes a forever thing. You can always just watch it online. So that's sad, bro. That's real sad.
Back up, please. Back up. I understand. I'm touching you. I need you to back up. Let them work. You being amped up like this is not helping, right? It's not helping.
Damn, that's very, very sad. I don't know if he got what he deserved or not. That's a bad look. You know, it's very sad stuff. He definitely did seem like a bully in those clips, but, you know, who knows? Like I said, he could have been trying to turn his life around. Parole office, probation office, whatever. He could have been ready to turn a new leaf. He was about to hit 30 years old, you know, he's 28. That's messed up, bro. That's messed up. You know? That's really 28 to 30. 28 to 32 is when you learn the most life lessons, and then from 32 onward is like you're really trying to become the person that you are. You still make mistakes. I make tons of mistakes. You know what I mean? I still feel like I'm in my 20s sometimes and I be doing dumb shit. But the way I react to that dumb shit, or the way I go about it, and the way that I say things is very different now. Anyway, that's a wild video. Definitely a good reaction. Crazy. Thank you, Swayze, for the stuff. When it comes to the brand new content, love to react to his channel. Go like, comment, subscribe if you are not familiar with the Swayze channel. Go check out my boy Lion to his channel. He's always there leaving comments, talking in the chat. We appreciate that here at 201. But yeah, man, it's another video, another friggin' when it comes to, you know, another great one. Thanks, Lion. But yeah, bro. The chat been more active, bro. I appreciate the chat. Been more active. And let's see what he said. He just dropped something else. I presume motive would likely have been long-time rivalry. Grudge to track him down and kill him in daylight amid risks. Would guess, really, yeah. Definitely connected to his music. Definitely connected to the videos, right? Definitely connected to all that stuff. It's a wild situation, man. It's definitely a wild situation, Lion. And yeah, very ballsy, right? Like, doing all that during the day, crazy. Very, very ballsy. Like, it had to be bad news. It had to be bad news, bro. Like, oh, we got him. Oh, he's going to this one. I know exactly where it's at, yo. And nobody's there right now. Here, spin the block. Let's see if his buddies are outside. His buddies aren't outside? All right. let's wait right here. Oh, he's coming out right now. Walk up on him. Walk up on him. Like, perfect timing. Everything synced. It was almost like it was meant to happen. And, yeah, highly motivated ops. Like I said, maybe he owed somebody money before he went in. He came back out, still owing the money or still having done someone bad, a robbery or something like that. Who knows? Maybe even this is get back for TJ, right? That's what the video was insinuating by Swayze, is that you never know. Like, Lil TJ has access to a lot of money. He's a big star now, Lil TJ. You know, I don't see Lil TJ doing that, but he did get caught up in that shooting in Hoboken. Remember, Lil TJ got shot at in Hoboken and fired back. I don't know if it was him directly, but his people started shooting back, and they ended up arresting the gunman. And I think he even received some collateral damage, like he got shot in the leg. Yeah, maybe we'll react to that. Maybe we'll talk about the Lil TJ shooting in Hoboken. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being more active in the chat. It's great to see you guys. You know, go like, comment, subscribe. Join me on Instagram. And I'll be coming with more content. Definitely, I got a lot of things in the work. And, yeah, it's JFlood201.